ကဲ top 3နဲ့ top 3နဲ့ပွဲလေးကြည့်မယ်ဗျာဒီနေ့တော့ top 3နဲ့ပွဲလေးကြည့်ပါမယ် game 1ဘာကြိုက်လဲဆိုတော့ Tundra တော့ပူကြိုက်ဒါပေမဲ့ cloud 9ကလည်းကျန်းတယ်ဗျာ hero စင်ကြည့်ရမယ်ထင်တယ် hero စင်ကြည့်ပြီးတော့ဗောနော်ဒါပါဘယ်ကပိုးဘာဖြစ်လဲဆိုတော့ကြည့်လိုက်မယ် hero စင်လေးတော့ကြည့်ဖို့လိုတယ်
banning it even though they have
Radiant team ban.
Mattresses plan.
Probably just want to get away. Yeah, we covered the game one. We look great, right?
တင်ကားတဲ့
Not so
They
great.
lost to a check.
ဒီကဝက်ဆန်လည်းကျန်းတယ်ဝက်ဆန်တို့ကလည်းကျန်းတယ်ပြီးဒါ cloud 9ဆိုတာလည်း
Serious.
သွားပြီးတော့ shot တက်လို့ရတဲ့တင်တော့မဟုတ်ဘူး
True.
fish ban ကတအိုမီ
You're not gonna get the.
you are ready white moon free တဲ့ free อ่ะဩဒါပေမဲ့ဒီကောင်နဲ့တခြားကောင်နဲ့ဆော့နော်
On Mars, setting up.
Tundra စတန်ရဘာတူလဲ
10 seconds remaining.
The offlane looks so great. So.
9 plus မပါဘူး
5 seconds remaining.
ဘာကိန်းလဲပြတော့ဖုန်းနဲ့ဆော့လို့ရတယ် bro ဒါ mobile data ပါ mobile data
Well, and I think it's really from Mars. The
Dire team pick.
Mars becomes like killable, and you're
အတန်းပြတ်တောင်းပါလို့ပြော
just doesn't like the Greek auras.
ရင်းရ share ကိုင်းနေကြရနော်ရင်းရ carry တွေ
I just think
ဖြစ်ခွဲနေကြ
You play so
10 seconds remaining.
The way that I read it is you don't want to
5
give it away.
seconds remaining. Radiant team
The main
pick.
difference is that
မာစီ
early game because he's very strong. He's very good at securing the lane, but he's not very good at wood. He wants to play slow, but eventually hits are gonna
မာစီ
oil get and back at the mirage and everything cut tight. But
10 seconds remaining.
It's very difficult for you in the early game where you cannot draft green, whereas I
5 seconds remaining.
Draft with like
Radiant
the
team
like to
pick.
pick in the early game are not as strong and not very good at picking back.
Dire
More
team
like a
pick.
hero like I think in the early he's not as strong, very good in the mid. But prioritize the mid late game power stuff. They drop for that very clearly.
Even the Mars pick
10 seconds remaining.
on it.
I think so.
Paso.
You
5 seconds remaining.
are on Centaur and try to run away, and Mars drops Serena. Can't run.
Yeah, but
Pretty much.
the other reason Centaur is so yeah, anticipate. Yeah, you play. That's that. Oh, it's good, you know. Centaur build cruiser and not late.
Yeah.
And it and
Dire team pick.
Is it just as good as it used to be?
Wow.
Now you go to more fast. Probably
it's still
probably
not as good.
yeah,
Yeah.
not as good against
and definitely with Mars, you want to go to the whirlwind fast. We did see them do.
I think it.
Radiant team pick.
yeah.
မီရာနာ
Uncontrolled when you
ကဲရိုးတွေကတော့ share လှည့်လို့ရအောင်နော်မီရာနာ4လား
then you go oh
မီရာနာ4လား carry လား mid လား
when it's uncontrolled.
runner လည်း mid လား carry လားကဲတို့ကတော့အစုံလှည့်လို့ရတယ်ဗျဝါချီရဲ့ဝါ runner စန်တော့ဝါ runner စပန်တင်ကာစပန်ကတော့ support ဖြစ်မှာထင်တယ်ဒါစပန်လည်းလှည့်လို့ရတယ်ပေါ့နော်ကဲ mid ကောင်ထပ်ပစ်မယ်ဆိုတော့စပန် support နဲ့ဟိုကလည်းထပ်လှည့်လို့ရတယ် support ရော carry
That
For the whirlwind.
for the whirlwind,
It's
exactly. So, it is, you know, it does function. Like, are you? This is a. Or are you much on?
Yeah.
We're just gonna pick very safe. Like, what happens if you know Tundra gets on fire and then all of a sudden
Radiant team ban.
and on her as well.
Templar assassin
Charge, right?
Not versus the shard, but for a timing.
Yeah. So like,
Dire team
this is
ban.
like gonna be a clash. I think. Doing stuff.
hero စင်လေးရတော့ဘူးလို့တဲ့ပြောရမယ်ဆိုလို့ရှိရင်တော့ cloud 9ကိုတော့ပူကြိုက်တယ်ဗျ cloud 9 hero စင်လေးကိုတော့ပူကြိုက်တယ်ပေါ့နော်ဘူးလို့တဲ့ပါ let's pick လေးကြည့်လာအောင်ပါရ
So
let's be young.
On the other side, the offlaner is not building any. You have this initiative.
10 seconds
The
remaining.
Ranger just does damage.
Free hero, yeah.
Marcy just buys a PvP.
5 seconds
that
remaining.
You could buy technically like.
Templar assassin
It's the facet. It's a raw damage. Like,
So this is the question: it's damage versus survivability. Who wins?
what opinion?
My opinion,
Dire team
survivability.
ban.
Lately we've been seeing being picked up in the well, the carry, but that's also the win range goes. Do you think it's very good?
69 player လေဟုတ်တယ်69 player လေဒီမှာ round လည်းကြည့်အောင်69လို့ တပွဲရှုံးရတယ်ခုနကတော့အကြိတ်သွား
Fix the issue.
Pro fight ဆော့လိုက်ရပုံရင် fight ဆော့လိုက်ရကကြိတ်သွား
Both not as good as
support ဆော့ရပွဲမနိုင်တာများတယ်ကျွန်တော် support ဆော့ရှုံး
it doesn't
I
really
think
change.
I think it's gonna be I think it's gonna be around
69 မနေ့က69ဟလား
Or River Amon.
I think so, and it'll be Marcy Wind as the same.
Marcy
I feel like they have stronger lanes.
Marcy Mars Marana M3 ကောင်ပေါ့နော် M3 လုံး M3 လုံးပစ်ထားတယ်ဆွန်ဒရာကတော့ hero စင်နေထားတော့ cloud 9လေးကိုတော့ဟူလို့ဆိုတော့နည်းငယ်တော့ပို့ပြီးတော့အားတာမိတယ်ပေါ့နော်ပို့ပြီးကြိုက်မိတယ် never defense လည်းကောင်းတယ် DPS ကလည်းထွက်မယ်ဘာညာပြီးရင်ဒါပေမဲ့ Mars Arena ကအဲ့တစ်ပေါက်ရှိရ Mars Arena ဒီပျောက်တဲ့
See Tundra.
fat ကြီးယူလာမယ်ဆိုလို့ရင်နည်းနည်းတော့ကျန်းတင်ကအဲ့ထဲမှာဘာမှလုပ်ပြီးလို့မရဘူးဗျ level 3 heal ရတစ်ခုလောက်ပဲကျန်တဲ့ဟာရဘာမှလုပ်လို့မရဘူး
Essentially,
Wow.
it's very strong.
တင်ကောက်အပြင်မှာထုတ်ထားမယ်
They're kind of rotate.
ရေးစီပဲအောင်းကတင်ကောက်အထဲမှာတင်တယ်
Thing is, I kind of like to do it as an opponent. I feel like
Monkey King
or they can
Yeah.
မင်းကင်းဖမ်းတယ်ဆိုမီလီကောင်
And they-
မြစ်လာမှာလားမသိဘူးနော်မီလီကောင်ပြတာမှမပါလား
They.
မင်းကင်းဖမ်းတာတယ်
Through it. and
Feels a little more
turn around.
reactionary.
Yeah, they want to.
10
They want to be.
seconds
reacting
remaining.
to information. They need to see that.
You see it with each. Well,
5 seconds remaining.
it's like this Centaur and Sven are just gonna stand in front, right? And Peter's just gonna be behind him. Sven doesn't really care as long as he's never gonna be in the match. That's better than the class.
Radiant team pick.
စနိုက်ပါ
You really hear how you.
Lecturer Okay
And this is a pretty good Leshrac too.
Dire
just
team
because you
pick.
have all those. Whenever I see Leshrac, I don't love to see it playing with other greedy. You want to play for the Leshrac. The thing is, they have like 8 heroes like Medusa and the Centaur stand. Crimson.
10
you have
seconds
Orc,
remaining.
Lecturer မြစ်လာမှာပါလာမှာလဲ
And all of his healing bots, like this
5
Leshrac is
seconds
gonna be very
remaining.
good to pop up.
Lecturer ပစ်ကောင်နည်းတော့စားတော့စားတယ်ဒါပေမဲ့
It's up to all in now.
cloud 9ကတော့ကြိုက်တော့ကြိုက်နေတော့မယ်
Damage. There's no
let's
going.
pick က let's pick ကဒီကောင်လေးအကုန်လုံးတာဘူးလားဘာကောင်ပင့်ကောင်လဲ
Oh,
that physical
actually
damage တွေအမျှ
Oh,
spare
bad.
တွေ
Yeah,
physical အ
that's
မျှ
a lush counter. I mean,
Razor.
Lecturer လည်း
see,
ကောင်းလာမယ်ဆိုရင်
tops.
လဲမှာ
What's some weird
Win
shit?
bay.
Tops one.
မင်းကောင်းလာပြန် invoke okay top set invoke ကလာပြီပေါ့နော် top set invoke က top set okay စင်တော့ပြည်တယ် saksa mirana ပိုရ full အဲ့တော့ဒါ point move fight mercy
It's good pick.
carry runner ပေါ့နော်
Is it enough damage? The lineup. It's okay. It's a good pick just
ဆို
because.
တော့ဘက်ကလည်းပစ်လေးရမ
have a
စိုး
way to
ဘူးဗျ
kill or have a
Yeah.
purge. I think nobody would around
heavy
had to go. I think just giving that purge left
Psychic,
the track
psychic.
is going to be more damage than the pick that did damage.
Yeah. And I remember for a while Leshrac was countered by Invoker because of the vessel's not good on that patch, or even like giving it on Invoker.
10 seconds remaining.
But in any case, like Invoker
5
doesn't
seconds
really
remaining.
get in there. And,
top set invoke ကြီးကိုလည်းကြည့်အောင် set ကြီးကအစားကြီး ကြီးကတော့ over လောက်တယ်ဘလို့ share ကျွေးမှာဒီပွဲက hero က hero စင်ကြီးက share ကျွေးမှာ
Ways
share ပြခွဲမှာပေါ့နော် solar flare ယူလာတယ်
I mean, he doesn't have. And I think.
If he tries to go, think game, gonna get yeah.
Like Thompson.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes Thompson is like a very wacky hero he's playing,
Nobody can
or
predict the
it's
Thompson deck. though.
exactly, or it's a pretty different fiddle. Never what on very finally you'll predict.
I think Tundra practice late and late game. Not so much when it's around, but I think if they do well the early game, it's the lanes, taking their dodge and the big game.
Alright, people of that mid game, we'll see who's going to be able to take control of it though. Is it going to be Cloud9? Is it going to be Tundra? Okay, let's head on over to our cost. I think that's
we win Centaur Warrena Invocation
Absolutely. This is what they played against each other 10 times. They've got 7 turns.
You're not going anywhere.
And of course there is a bit of an ash.
လောစီဘာလို့တက်နေတာလဲ
Anime
လော
profile.
စီတက်နေ
Suku. He's got an anime
This recent
profile.
track.
If you
Really
weren't
like
so
the old
damn
ladies
dead,
now.
I'd shoot you again.
Mentality of teams.
Yeah.
With all the damage.
Run like the dog you are.
With that ability to bug off. Pretty impenetrable down.
You have learned nothing.
The initiate coming through. How are you going getting on the back line? Hard enough. Or you can hide out a lot of the ability.
ဒီဘက်လောစီဘာလို့တက်နေရလဲလောစီတက်နေတယ်လို့
Similar.
I'm sure honor your name invoker level 3တယ်နော် level 3နဲ့ invoker တော့ဆန်းနဲ့
A bit on maybe.
Templar Platinum Wachi Platinum Lashra Platinum
I predicted all of this, you know. All of it.
Saw a very early and
ကြီး
I predicted all of this, you know. All of
really
it.
disrupt. You see that kind of beat?
emergency yeah
Yeah, really. Crimson Guard's one of those. You know, once the. Great. Yep.
ကျောင်းရောင်ဒီမင်္ဂလာပါမင်္ဂလာပါbro ရေမင်္ဂလာပါနော်
Good abilities that they've got.
ငါတာလာပါညညလေးပါ
Win run. They've leaked. I was blink.
လောစီတက်နေအတန်တွေကမပြတ်တောင်းဖြစ်နေဘာလို့လဲမသိဘာလို့လဲစီတက်နေ
Create that. Bit of
ဆက်ပြီးပြန်ဝင်လိုက်မယ်နော်
you want.
ခြားပွဲစားနေ
Number one time. Because as soon as it came out, I was like, oh god, it's a ticket.
ကောင်းတယ်ကွာ
What? Do you want to? What is? Why?
Repair bot. It's you watch the machine.
If you weren't so damn dead, I'd
I
shoot you
predicted all
again.
of this, you know. All of it.
Lay it down and
If you weren't so damn dead, I'd shoot you
she gets very into the pet. If Thompson plays it off with a one leg,
she slow filio pripya
you know, so he's in the mood.
apu
Just oh my. Walk. This sort of
ji
feel
I
reversed. Especially in that even
ဒီပွဲထစ်နေဟာ
there is when you've got with
အမောထစ်နေပရိုက်ပြန်သွားမှလားအာစီဆိုဒီအမတင်းတော့ sorry လေ bro ကျွန်တော် immortal မှာ ဆော့နေတယ် tip read တယ်
Say like. I can avoid this up.
ta da ta da da ta 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 ta
That was genius.
How does no one kick?
အပွဲလေးဆိုတင်းညံပွဲပါလို့ ထွန်တာနဲ့ cloud 9လေ bro TI အခုလုံးထဲမှာထစ်နေတယ်
30 seconds to battle.
Stitchy. It didn't look good.
လောစီအနေနဲ့တက်နေအောင်နော်ဘာလို့လောစီတက်နေလဲမသိဘူးအပြင်ကကြည့်ရင်တော့တက်မှာ
The battle begins.
Let them know. Everyone's what? Oh. I mean,
ပြင်ကခဏကြည့်လိုက်မယ်နော်ဖြစ်နေရတော့မြင်ရလား bro ဒီလိုကြည့်ရင်
Hannah was speaking a lot about the mid lane with no one. Particular, I mean, a very old mid laner who has a diverse hero pool and has been really rising
Bottom lane.
back to the top of the mid laners. Okay.
နှစ်
bottom
ကျင်း
lane,
နော်ကြည့်ရဒီလို
Ramses.
ကြတော့
A lot of pressure, Fishman and Watson.
အဲ့အောင်ရှော်ပြီလား
Job to be able to push the Mars back. Fishman needing one more right click's not going to be able to find.
ချားပွဲရထင်တာခဏရတော့ bro လောစီအနေနဲ့တက်နေလို့လော ဘောနဲ့ Randall နဲ့ personal မြင်ရတော့မလားပြောတတ်ပါဘူးဗျာ
Although hand just about so he was fought.
လောစီတက်နေရလောစီဘာလို့တက်နေလဲအပြင်ကကြည့်ရကြအဆင်မပြေဘူးเนาะ Twitch ကလား Twitch ကကျွန်တော်အဲ့လိုဒဲပြလို့မရလို့ Twitch ကပြရင်ကျွန်တော်ဘန်းခံရမှာအားကြောင့်ပုံမှန်ဆိုတော့အာရတော့ဆက်ရှော့ပြီလားတော့ဆက်နဲ့ဒီဝါရီအောင်ဒီတော့ဆက်နဲ့ဝမ်းမပေးလိုက်ပြီဟာလုံးဝ
Let's go.
Trong sân đang ngủ có mà vì này vì cái bá lúc lùi trên này à lê
I don't think that costs able to make
Denied.
Pause. Brace up.
Have a little.
I think it just really depends on something. That's right. Shaking. It's got 30. Waiting. Angel.
Shadow 이거 치는 거 같다.
When you can just, you know, let's get a tie winner.
အဲ့ဒါသူများသားသမီးမထစ်ဘူးကငါပဲထစ်နေ
Stand. You got. Where?
Team. Some brand. You know. Very much. As someone saw.
ထွက်ပြီးပြောင်းဝင်လာအောင်နော်ဘိုးအားဆုံး
Around order to help or play with.
Right.
ဟုတ်တယ်ဘိုးတင်က support လေတင်က support လေခဏလေးပါဘိုး sorry ပါလို့နော်ထင်ထွက်ပြီးပြောင်းဝင်လာအောင်ပဲဘာလို့ထင်နေရလဲမသိဘူး sorry ပါလို့ထင်နေတယ်ညီမနဲ့မဟုတ်ဘူး bro ညီမနဲ့မဟုတ်ဘူး
Radiant
ကောင်းပါပြီအဲ့လောက်ပါလို့ကဲဒုက္ခကြီးလားပေးနေတယ်အကြောင်းကြီးကို
You go for a dive?
Francis
သူ
with the
က
spear.
ပြန်ကောင်းသွားပြီနော်
We'll be able to win.
After you use the meld as well. Ooh, they are a little
Dyer's
bit.
bottom.
Nigh almost a full wave under it. Ramsey's a lot without Sarks though.
Still getting the experience for the run. You mentioned that that is going to be
ကဲပြန်ရအောင်
playing
ဒီ
alongside this Wind Ranger, especially Whirlwind Pro. Stop the Centaur Stampede runaway, and you also enable so much of that
နေချက်တရားရအောင်
Will still most to be able to yoink this bounty rune away. That'd be a pretty big deal. The very end. Yeah, I mean, no one had that bounty away. Sorry, the power rune. Bounty rune means Thompson gets a little bit of himself. He's denied both of those. That's amazing.
Question of what the build's going to be for Thompson. Really queued up.
Dyer's bottom tower is under attack.
I hate it. I mean, you are going to have to get a lot of this magic damage. Side of the TA. Magic damage coming.
ဝစ်ဆန်လည်းရသွားရအောင်
Yeah, you're even going to have to, you know, be able to nullify a little bit of. Right?
Somi over towards the Radiant Triangle. To read that Wagmom snuck inside and would scout out the stacks that was going on. Doing a really good job to protect the area. We were
the Bartry Measley
right side as well by the top
Top
room,
Sunday
another
identity
observe ward as well. So really wanting to kill
Top
this
ဆန်
area.
နဲ့ရဲ့ item လေးပါ Measley ရနေ
Early on with the stacks, but
Just on the topic of Tundra again, I think that's another. We've casted games together where 18 stacks. Something ridiculous. They don't necessarily have amazing heroes. at the
Deep
end
way
of
I found
the
a
stats,
poison,
but
no?
certainly Wind Ranger now that
Senior smoke level.
Mars with a God's Rebuke
Could be
can
worse.
look to really
wait,
get a
no, it
lot of
couldn't.
farm up.
and how different is this
The
place
prize
now
is
with the
mine.
Invoker? Good with this. Be a bit more passive here for Hobson.
He is basically the anti-no-one / anti-Horus. Kind of feels like the old raid. Got plenty of damage coming.
If you weren't so damn dead,
Wind
I'd
Ranger,
shoot you
I wouldn't be
again.
surprised if that. So far, even Marcy is a bit 5 once you clear on the unleash.
ကဲ pause လိုက်လားတကယ်ချင်းတို့ရဲ့ပွဲပြောင်းတော့မယ်နော်မင်းတို့ဟာလေ
Extra damage that you get after for another 12 seconds. That's nuts, especially considering plus side. They're going to be
တွိုင်းလေး
dealing
မြန်
with
သွား
so
မယ်
much
ပြန်လာခဲ့မယ်
really going to be, in my opinion, away from this. How good is Seal Vision that they're up appropriately so that when they do eventually go for these, you're not getting one of your key heroes or immense shield strategy wiped out at the very.
Are you hoping that maybe the
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't feel like you need. I don't think you completely leave that up to rest. Mars, in my opinion, works better as like that second wave.
down? Already. On the outskirts turns on his speed. Gives him enough time to retreat away, and now with Pure's damage along with Hobson's rotation, this could be a great response out for Thundra. Rewarded with a double
If you
kill.
weren't so damn dead, I'd shoot you
Very
again.
close now to the male Sherman. Around to get a little bit of damage in the tower as well, so response was on dial.
အဲ့လိုခဏလေးပါထမင်းလေးထိုင်နေလို့ပါနော်ခဏလေးပါ
Radiant's bottom tower is under
No
attack.
man,
ခဏလေးပါ
get that item progression moving faster and faster. Attempt and power of the wind. Talk about the overwhelming damage. That is without the soul. More damage.
shan't. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Take me!
No one.
Nothing.
We are going to see, but this is a bit of an advantage that Thunder are going to play with. This Tier 1 tower is already going to get claimed bottom, and we will see
Dire's
Cloud9
top tower is under attack.
a rougher time to be able to open up the map. Kill is already going to go back top. We could see Arena be used maybe to, if they want to fight around there, potentially even to defend their own safe lane tower as well. Maybe Cloud9 don't really care about this, but I feel like it might restrict the map a little bit with the
Absolutely. And the thing is as well, they have very little mention what the sense build with the Retaliate already maxed out, going to Blade Mail, just 40 gold away, but you know, TA needs to get
Ghê ngà sao vậy? Ghê ngà sao vậy? Đi lên cái gì?
Radiant jungle, so Watson can't
Ngà sao? Ngà
farm
sao?
the area. Also makes it very easy
Chưa thấy mất đâu hả?
behind tier 1 tower and make me set up on a support farming.
Mà mà lên một xí.
almost level 7, so
Mà mẫu này tụi nó về là cái gì mà?
Dax working his way.
Mình biết là một xí biết niệm lại.
You've got to find a way to, yes, it's good that they've been able to take the tower
Ê,
over.
thế mà hiểu không bảo?
Find a way to be able abilities to be able to jump.
Ê, tôi ra mày lo xây cái gì này? Ê, tôi ame rồi giá gì gì này mà giá là u bro. Đi ê phê cô nó ten separate là push strong là luôn. Liquid gì à lại được chen này.
To rush that sort of thing because I think
À liquid cái đó mình à ten ten này tôi làm một tí vào. Sau đó nó chen này bro. Tai quan ten nhân nhân tôi làm làm này làm gì? Xí thì rồi ta lâu đi ai mía rồi thì mà biết xí này nghe rồi.
You're
Xí à bí hoài.
0-4 in the middle with a guy like Iggy.
Nó không nói là mía. Ô, đi bí rồi.
Got the connection between the two. It looks
Nó
like
nói ra rồi.
close, and that'll be the case. Thompson, another kill going Tundra's way. Now you see the response as well.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Gonna look to try and convert this into a tower, and they have a lot of damage with the Unleash Shalom.
Dire's structures are fortified.
on the solar flare as well. It was very
Radiant's
important
middle
that they
tower
actually
is
did
under
that.
attack.
I know it's not going to be refreshed because it's already lost tier 1 bottom, but that tower was
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Liquid cái mía vào không vậy? Không phải liquid cái mía vào mà đó.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
keep an eye on Fishman. Far enough away, you
Chú ơi mà liquid gì giàu ai được vào?
Mine is truly a blessed
Scouted out this cliffboard.
Split gen này.
Their advantage, but the movements from them have been
Không rõ em nha.
early on. Impressed with what we're seeing out of Marana, finding a lot of these plays and pops in with the Mage Slayer over towards his top.
the backside. They've got no observer ward, no sentry up to bring this top side, so damage quite yet to be solo killing job of the rest. Damage coming. Second,
Mà có được xong cái nào vậy đi đã?
Kato only
Một tí vào. Phải được không biết lâu dài là xong cái nào.
hero.
Nó bao lâu đi ra?
Breaks the smoke as well.
Danny Three là cứ rằng một trăm mà hầu rồi. Danny Three là mày hào. Liquid của xong ngoài đã sắp của lại xong ngoài đi còn này.
Deal with those kind of movements.
Bây giờ cứ ăn tên mày đã rồi mà ta nào. Phí công này đi còn này tiêu mà đấy. Liquid này sắp tầm đã.
Patient for Thunder to work.
2 to 7 kill score. It's a 2k net worth lead, but they've lost that much. They are not ready. Not yet. Just got the holy locket like a Sven. Track. Link dagger. You're very, very close.
Rồi chỉ là chế thứ ba, chế thứ hai thì mà này đó. Chế thứ ba.
Waiting for be able to continue pushing on forward, start taking it.
For them, Austin managed to catch Kazumi just before the teleport away. Converge down there, but it seems to be
干嘛？
Kazumi is taking a long time to be killed off, and now
对对呜，
they might not die.
打完吧。
He's caught out. On top of the invoker, they're not done just yet. No damage to be able to stop the blink away. Actually, that will probably spell the end.
Radiant's
Someone's
bottom
got
tower
both of them
is
in a
under
couple of
attack.
seconds, and once he's positioned the high ground, glimpse of Ramses tries to follow up with a stun, but will be just shy.
Now you see why we grown that size and we saw that kick up first. That's the sort of thing that you can get out of a support team, you know. Seeds of Serenity have charges in it, block it, machines and effect. Very frustrating and really shows the importance of multiple heroes to be able.
Fishman's positioning, playing for the right side where what's farming the ancients. True puts himself as the first point of
Radiant's
contact to
top
help his
tower is
Templar
under
assassin
attack.
off freely. They want to take the fight, they're going to jump. This is the area they want to continue to control. They won't be able to do so. Now Ramses blink away, Sox.
追吧追吧，
They've got this high ground ward to play with, but it's a
Radiant's
little
top
bit messy.
tower is
我
under
这还
attack.
对鱼啊！
He doesn't have his reposition, so he's still going to be caught out here with the jump over the low ground. 2-3
啊，他对鱼了，对吧？啊，
Ramses is going to be caught up to it. So, nice. They're going to be able to buy back here. So, much needed kills for them. They'll continue to defend their high ground. And now this thing with lead, it's actually to Radiant's favor.
What we were talking
老
about.
鱼对的呀。
Formation correctly set up. You followed out perfect.
Dyer's top tower
Just
is
being
under
there to be
attack.
front line,
Dyer's top tower has
first,
fallen.
and then using those timing, blink dagger to jump in with. TA had the blink dagger delivered. You even had further potential to jump in.
How do we feel overall with the status of this game? Of course, a little bit of momentum is now going to go to Cloud9 after that 5 victory, but I feel like there is a side heading into the mid game with it being even. They're going to be favored.
Like the next 5 or so minutes is Cloud9's. They need to try and push out these lanes a little bit. Tundra, they need to hit Dragonlance himself.
不是，你就追着嘛追那吧，然后他记录下吧，哎，
That soul of
身边点嘛记下吧。
feels like the cooldown that Tundra to. You don't have that soul of flare. A lot of that damage really isn't going to pull that impact. Very mindful of reaching quickly as well, because again, DM's working on that Crimson Guard.
ပြကတကယ်ဖမ်းတာနော်
July
ရှယ်ဖမ်းတာ
Robo.
တမလာတော့တော့များတယ်
Attack speed here for the win rate and spell casting. And they do see Paimon under this observer.
is mine.
Dear Ward and no one else will get to think about teleporting into as they were looking for.
对，直方你妈过。
The absolute dream casino. Back the next couple of minutes, getting some of their bigger aggressive item timings, getting into that Deso now for Watson. Use that to really quickly secure the Tormentor, get a the Aghanim shard to spend,
Dyer's middle tower is under attack.
push on forward and have a luxury of all of that extra.
Aggressive smoke towards bottom, and they might run into
Radiant's
white
bottom
one.
tower is under attack.
Change their
Dyer's
direction, go
middle
towards the
tower is
triangle.
under
No one's
attack.
currently home though, so walked over a trap. So they'll get the freebie. Definitely not the kill they were hoping for on Cloud9.
Something, but Whitemon was in the right position. Pushing out the lane, both 3 heroes. Very, very nicely.
Dyer's middle tower is under attack.
Boys on Cloud9. T1 Tower's
Dyer's
gonna go down as
structures
well,
are
so
fortified.
Fast movements from them. They've brought this game back. Not that it was too large of a deficit at all, but they're looking very good once they've been able to find their items.
Dyer's middle
Three
tower
races,
is fallen.
even Fishban, fair amount with being able to take the tower with the gold. There's no TA there, which I thought that might quite some time. Focusing more on farming.
တင်ကားရက်ဖတ်လိုက်တာ
All
ယူကငါကတော့ကယ်ပြီးတော့မှာငါကတော့ကျွေးတော့မှာ
makes the move.
Dyer's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is
Impressive,
under attack.
the net worth that everyone all the floors have on Cloud9. When you take a look at it. Often you see a position will be this greedy, but one of the cores will often take a hit and have a difficult time. That is really not good.
ဒီလာ3လုံး
But some of the movements from Fishban really feels like a team performance.
ဟမ်
The movements from Sven. Got his dive 5 times. It's taken quite a lot of time. Got a daily level 13. Almost got the full Guardian Greaves. He's got the full block. It's like, what do you burst?
လောက်ပါတယ်
Something you were mentioning as well was that top. Get the shot. So have this now. They're just going to be severe lack of damage with Thunder and gosh, they're out of the Tormentors are very close, but
ဟော
all these items, 600 gold away, and then Greaves and all the items are online for Cloud9. And what do we want to see when that is the case? You towards Roshan if you're raiding, are you even go for a different objective?
Potentially go for Roshan, or I think very easily stick yourself behind the TA and take down. You're going to be able to got all of that protection you need first before you even start. You've got to be able to move away unless your lock is absolutely Cloud9 basically.
ဒီပွဲရလုံးဝ slow game
Love this.
တစ်ဖက်လုံးက fan လေ
Hitting his time so that he doesn't
လောက်နိုင်တော့လာပြီ
5 seconds.
ပြီးမီးလိုက် rally ပဲမီးလိုက် rally ပဲ
Just one straight under the trap. How much you're going to be able to do? It's still as secure as a smoke as well. So DM and Fishman maybe thinking they can get a
Dyer's
+1
middle
through
tower
the
is
triangle.
under
No
attack.
one's home, but if you go further to the south, they are currently venturing out inside the lane. Pure's going to show. I'm on to break the smoke, so maybe give them an opportunity to react. Pure's still going to run for the back of the lane. Typically up, it's a little bit messy.
ဟောလိုက်
Set up that initiation. Now no one's going to try to jump into this. They're getting protected from the
ဟောလိုက်ရဟေး
Doesn't matter, look at the
Dyer's middle
damage,
tower
man.
is under attack.
Along with Contra,
မရဘူးမရဘူးလို့ရန်နာ BKB အဲ့ဒီ item အပြည့်ရဝင်တော့ကျွတ်လို့မရဘူးတေးတာပဲ
With the formation that we were talking about, right? They didn't have all 5 there. Katomi was on
ဘာပဲလည်းပေးလိုက်ရတယ်ရိုးရှာမှာပေးရပြီကွာ
Guardian Greaves. Sven's just pointing it a little bit quite at TA who was most on the map.
တကယ်ကောင်းတဲ့ drone ပါ
Pointing it with that solid huge amount of damage coming from the terrain.
definitely seemed a little unfortunate though, because they were expecting Pure to run to the south, so they were starting to get to the outpost. If they actually kept running, then they would have been there to line up with that full stop from DM, but usually not to be. Like you said, you see the position pops in.
Roshan has fallen to Dyer.
Now this is an ages that you've given over to Pure, and he is skyrocketing up there in the
Been a big plus. Man knows how to farm. Man knows how to get network. Showing it time. I have to say, Topson was probably such a minor tornado to be able to what he's supposed to do is nullify it basically with every move. Fine. Criticism.
Hurricane Biden မနက်စတာရဲ့
Hero is the minus. Going down early in that.
veteran working.
Illusion
This the guided build, which was something that was in question. A lot of the items, and like Soul of Flare.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Yeah,
attack.
he's got the Crowbow, he's got the Dragonlance, he's just slowly sieging bottom tower. That's why not, right? Might. You're going to initiate on
Dragon Lance 3 ကောင်တဲ့
himself out of
ပို့ဆိုးတယ်ရ
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Dragon Lance နေတယ်
I think that's
Radiant
kind of what
structures are
Cloud9
fortified.
should have been doing.
Dire's
Has
top
had it.
tower is under attack.
A couple of really good.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
So now what's the call then for Cloud9? You've given up this previous team fight, you've given up the Aegis advantage, now a T2 tower down bottom. Go back to kind of what worked for you,
Dire's
was
top
just
tower is
controlling
under attack.
the triangle.
I think it's a little bit too late to just control the triangle.
ဒီ runner RT တခုနဲ့ဟိုဘက်ကချတာအခက်နေပြီ identity ရောလိုသေးတယ် runner ကိုပြစ်ဖို့အတွက်မှ Templar Maggie ကင်းပါတွေပါလိုမယ်
Towers,
I don't know why.
maybe seen. Maybe they do feel really accurate.
ဝါချီကတော့တောင်းတော့တောင်း
Go through. See it going both ways, but I don't want to hold up in the jungle because I feel like 100.
နေပါလဲကျွေးနေပြီရပေါ်မှာလဲကျွေးကြလိုက်ရ
Another kill got off fish now. A couple of Tundra heroes pop out of nowhere.
Who am I, Sven?
Does it die back because we could buy back previously from Fishman, so just 30 seconds without the Sven.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yes, you don't have it does enable you
Radiant's middle tower has
to
fallen.
try and play
Dire's
everywhere
top
else.
tower is under attack.
Shove out both.
They got a glimpse of no one down bottom. They're going to see DM now under the ward. Both will try.
Dire's
The
structures
outpost,
are
unfortunately, a little bit
fortified.
too late. Hobson was instantly moving down to bottom when they got that glimpse, but
Face, so very careful here on no one.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Doing what we were saying, right? Forcing perhaps some defensive move. Putting himself high, fine. Back. Back, so they're not actually. Seconds also left on it.
also being able to intercept some of the reinforcements.
ဝါချီကထပ်ပြီးရဲ့
Hobson and Ramses, they'll be able to run to the center close to the T1 tower, so Cloud9 keeping secure.
သွားရရအေး
Just out. Uses at least the ability to be able to escape the teleport or the stun is used, and nice read from Fishman and
Radiant's
Watson.
top
They
tower
were
is
Game
under
back down
attack.
to Game back down to
way over, but fight that they
There wasn't for sure.
Radiant's top
They're
tower
just
has
saying.
fallen.
Downside of with these kills,
Radiant's top
Thor
tower is under
Thor
attack.
has absolutely found his way. All outer towers are going to be.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
to make the jump. Arena is there for Ramses.
လှလေးဝီနာ
The damage here, the crimson's there, but it doesn't matter. Pure, I mean, Christus, even the Alacrity, the Solar
ထွန်းတာတ
Flare.
ကယ်လုံးနေတာတကယ်လုံးနေတာထွန်းတာပါထွန်းတာတကယ်လုံးနေတာ Cloud9 entity လေး bro entity Watson တို့ Rowan တို့
The satanic just so that he can be a
DM
little bit
ကတ်
more
တိုး
survivable.
ပြီး
He knows
အ
that
ညာပါတော့
past few engagements don't really care all of these stuff.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Breathing a sigh of relief, honestly. Not unless Watson still gets caught, but the fact that they Tundra, I don't know if you want to be greedy, they made the call that they could get kills down bottom instead of actually converting onto the tier 3 tower mid, so
The price
they're
is
gonna take
mine.
it half health.
It's always the day, like
ဒီ
anytime
ရောအေးမင်းကြီးခက်ရတယ်တွေ့
Stuck around for quite a while.
a little bit hesitant.
ညာကြီးကကွက်တီပဲ
On point. All he needs is one stun. We've got to be cautious though, respectful on some of the MKB getting delivered recently, just shy of the shackle though from Pure.
Formation though, right? We've seen how unkillable they look. Heroes in the right. Someone up on their own, they don't. Ability and the damage is basically across the board. The roster that taking like these 2v2, 1v1 skirmishes, they could come out on top. Cloud9, they play together. Now they've got the just.
ဟာညာကြီးကထက်ထိသွားတယ်ဟောဒါမှလည်းလို့မရဘူး
There.
Lane jumping, Pure. This
Are we
is
game
an
by?
opportunity. We're trying to force out some BKBs. Okay, never mind. Here's go ahead, my still no one dead and. The vision game from Hunter has been so exceptional. I mean, the really aggressive boards you see kind of out of the base top and bottom as well. Traps as well.
Check
Around
out.
the choke points to minimize some of the trap
ဒီ
vision.
ကထွန်းရနိုင်မှုများတယ်
Often this is something that has been an advantage of a Templar assassin not to be this game. Tundra just sweeping from lane to
Radiant's
lane.
middle tower is under
I
attack.
think the biggest thing that I'm impressed with. All these things. No pun intended, nullifying. Saksa is. Status resilient. Crimson Guard. I'm not even just talking about all of Flare, plus the null, plus all of those.
တွေ့ပြီ Sắp chết chết. Ồ, cái này con quất đi. Con quất đi về.
Assassinates the mid lane up and still over the right side. Watson, he's trying to find an angle into the middle. The time of the Hurricane Pipe gets a little bit of separation out of Pure.
Còn nếu xíu rồi,ပြန်hết luôn à.
It's a close one from Watson, but they're gonna go.
Thì bây giờ gì à gì à, đấy mẹ. Tiếng gái nó hùa gì à. Chặt thế. Quá biết con kia thì. Tiếng gái là má hay là.
Jumps over the top, is able to assassinate the Wind Ranger. Now Diem's not just yet. Dobson stuck around, should be able to get away. And you've got the respawn, so Ramses is back alive.
Chưa dục biết sao lại à.
Might be able to catch DM. Links up in a couple seconds, but will not continue the chase. So hard 9, great fight for them nonetheless.
Great uses of the dagger as well, just to go in for that +1 over and over again. DM disjointing a right click from top from there, just to be kill on your first death of the entire game as well. Can't discount it. Great hit, and really showing the value of the M.
What is it? What is the damage from the Mirana? Like, what is that? But always a critique of the Leshrac has been just right-click damage with your low armor. I mean, sure, the Sven is just going to help out, but the sword still in that instance.
Cái rui sẽ làm việc với à.
Get 160 damage from Soul, very powerful.
Tiếng gái giờ xu là. Tiếng gái giờ đứng vào bên này.
To the point, honestly, where like in that right one, just with sight. There's even extra damage.
Lights has also been working with Marcy, so a lot more utility instead of the whole maybe solo kill potential that we've seen Marcy itemize in the past. And I mean, Lads is very good. You're going to get so much value out of it. You've got 3 right clicks, Rana, you even see them pass, you potentially that route for Ramses, but Lads is really going to help out here, and especially considering we see the damage return that is there with the Blade Mail and the return.
Craziest thing for mine, and the difference how to itemize and what strategy it is. I'd say the most defensive item that they've got on Tundra production is probably still this first item, Mage Slap. And like outside of that, they've got nothing. No pipes, no crimsons, nothing. Yeah, I guess they're a bit, but
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire structures are fortified.
Tundra with a smoke with the BKB. Shrugs off the initiation. Sensor, 4200 health. Is this really the person you want to trust? Yeah, maybe went a little bit too far forward. The Stampede still holding and ready to spring the trap. Watson, a glimpse of him actually pops out, but thinks otherwise.
Trying to just get a BKB out of him. Prize and as many cooldowns as possible, and at that point you did use the Stampede and you did use the BKB. Pretty much the only thing that they're lacking. What they're going to do, know that everyone rotated here, and that's a Kataomi or shove out of the map. More of this network is working on a side device for a Thinker. More network than DM, by the way. Going to take Ramses'
That's read from Tundra. They saw the position Cloud9 Radiant observed by that team from mid. Accordingly, it was not completed pure.
Pretty much Exodia status right now. He needs his agony. Blessing.
ပြောလိုက်လို့တင်တယ်ကားတိုက်ချက်ပဲအေးလေပြောပါနဲ့ဖေကိုနိုင်သေးချင်းဒီသက်လေးကိုပိတ်ထားပြီးပါကျေးဇူးပြုပြီးအားဆိုတော့ဖေကိုနိုင်သွားပြီဖေကိုအားပေးတော့ရှုံးပါပဲရအိမ်မှာဖန်ဟုတ်တယ်တုတ်ပြီ
Trying to make some individual plays potentially or with
ငါတော့အဲ့လိုစူးချလို့ရှိရင်တော့ထွန်တာတော့ပူကျဲတယ်
you're not at the stage where you can go for the kickoffs onto a solo member.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Survive. He's actually there with the rest of the boys.
ရှင်းလိုက်တေးအောင်
Radiant structures
1300ဒီလေရအာတေးဟာရဝန်တဲ့တကားပုံလာရောဒီကိဒီကိတော့ BKB အတန်း3လို့မရသေးဘူးနော် instant damage သေးပဲဘောဝယ်လာတယ်ကြောက်တာပါဒီထောက်ပြောင်းသွားပြီကျွန်တော်တို့သေးရပစ္စကလိုဝဲမှာပဲကြီးပေးလိုက်ရတာပဲ
Was used there for Cloud9.
မျိုးလေးကဘယ်ကိုပြန်လာပါလဲ
Ended up using his tier 3. Now,
အိမ်ပြန်ပါလား
great placement of the arena as well.
ပြန်လာချက်တည်းอ่ะ
Getting the trying to retreat with the use of Stampede, but also off the back of it, blocked the tower. So the multi-shot that was trying to clear out some of those creeps wasn't all that. Tower, they didn't have coming play. Really good, just little plays.
Was the initiation a little bit messy, but there was no
Nulify
response.
ah local nulify
This is
သွားနေ
where
ကြ
the buybacks was really the big thing for them, but now be an issue. We've seen multiple times in some of these fights they are losing members, so a lot they had to invest in this base defense.
I don't think we've actually had a full-on 5v5 yet. Always been just like Tundra finding key pick-off or Tundra not quite having enough to me a little earlier on.
Ghost of BKB
Dire's
သွား
middle
ပြီ
tower is under attack.
That's what I want to see if their strategy is going to work. Danger is if they go through this entire game and it doesn't work for them, they haven't had their perfect scenario, maybe they're going to get baited into it.
Hugged together. Five. He's currently not with the team.
Pings out. Using the Pulse Nova on the creep would make that very obvious. Talk about huddling
ကျွေး
together.
ပါရအောင်စောင့်နေ
Tundra are doing their own bit of vision. Right on point.
ဟိုရှမ်းမထွက်သေးဘူးလို့သေးတယ်ဒီ3100ရဗရာနာဟိုဒူဝိုင်း
Nader gonna go through the portal up to top. This thing that's getting heavily shoved in.
A whole lot more obvious what you're trying to do. Way too much farm on the map, and creep wave is way too juicy for no one to be
မေးစလီ
happy
ယာ
to sit this one out. Know that they're not going to hit
which play
neither yet. Ibex, they know it's very, very conservative, so they're just going to wait out the max duration of that smoke.
Haste!
Cloud9 position is to huddle inside the base. Have a ward over by their triangle. Maybe they want to position like we saw previously from Tundra. Wards in place up by the middle set of barracks. No one is currently home though. We'll see the less shortly.
Oh shit.
Radiant's middle barracks are under attack.
Wow, you teaching no one they don't know.
Should be able to get the kill onto retreat. And you go back in on Cloud9. Still a lot of issues. I mean, the BKB makes it very difficult now without that big on Watson and Tundra. They can wait. Focus by back up in 10 seconds. Maybe they'll go from DM. BKB just before the arrow connects.
Probably the closest we've got to a
No one attacking. Okay, first game chúng ta chơi bí lại của nó, la ba để chơi bí lại. Murata, Naga, Ochetia, Sniper Fu, Maggie Game, mid. Ba hero này, cái má nó số bùi này, cái má nó bùi gì phui lắm, cái má nó bùi gì phui này, ông để ông bắt bà ông mà lại mà bà này, cái quá hết ta, tay này quá, cái này quá ế, ok, ok ba. Này cũng dạng sheriff này. Stone spray sheriffing. Sheriffing stone spray. Stone spray. I mean runner này chơi gì à? Vì cái đi ai đến nó quá rồi sao anh chơi này runner vì cái pick ra vậy. Yeah. Tasky.
Во-первых, это закрыв...
really pop off. So I wouldn't hate to see them try and go for another
If
pop
you are
off
developed
straight away.
demand of
Their
suspect.
shadow beam time around.
XG, go for Enchantress, but I just realized yesterday they played Timbersaw on position 4 for Shinku. He plays it, XN plays it, XXX plays it. So if you have an X on your name and you're on Extreme Gaming, you can play Timbersaw, you're good. You're Gucci.
Poor DY is like, come on man, I want to play some cool boss vibes.
No, here's Enchantress, enjoy.
Here's Enchantress tree. This is going to be you for the rest of TI. Enjoy, buddy. He's like, oh, okay.
Alright, this Nyx Assassin is interesting because yesterday we did see a Nyx Assassin actually put some real work onto a Timbersaw, especially in the earlier portion of the game when some of this Nyx damage was really impactful onto Timbersaw. And it's also one of these heroes that is useful for scouting around the Enchantress in the earlier portion of things. And you just need vision, right? I think that's also one thing that they struggled with in the previous game for OneDub. They were not playing adequately around their vision. Now you have Nyx Assassin, you'll always be able to find some areas of the map that are safe for your team to play in.
Yeah, he's just also one of those heroes that can kind of skew a lot of these early rotations going in from Extreme as well, right? Like not only is it about the vision, but he can just kind of tank some of these ganks for some of your cores, just being a body in front. You know, you just get, you walk in, you pop a smoke, they pop some dust, they get the kill on you, and it's like kind of like whatever. So I really like this Nyx Assassin Shadow Demon combination. They've got a lot of the issues with both of those two heroes kind of fixed up. You know, the Nyx Assassin provides a lot of that damage, a lot of that early kind of movement, and a lot of that information, whereas the Shadow Demon later on can really scale into one of those scary supports and has a lot of that save in the backline as well. So 1W probably need to try and have a very strong lane in of itself, because this Nyx Assassin plus 1 lane is going to be pretty weak into an Enchantress. They do have the Mind Flare to try and deal with the creep, but you need to be very, very mindful with the offlaner that you pick here, that the Nyx Assassin really isn't going to provide much to you outside of just kind of dealing with creeps.
Man, that's when you're really wishing for yourself. I wish Doom was
10
still in the pool.
seconds remaining.
Because if they'd gone Doom, it would have been great for them, right? You don't have to worry that much about the Ench anymore. Can step in the lane. But in Extreme Gaming, obviously, realize this, ban out the Doom. We see the Lina right now, so here's some combination and disruption into the LSA combo. It's big burst magic damage, which you always want against Timber. You always want that against Enchantress as well. And it's somebody that can scale into like a physical right clicker. I don't think you can play Dota right now, absent one of those in the draft. So Lina definitely will provide that to them.
Yeah, definitely, and especially, you know, we're kind of at the point where there's like this trio of like these ranged carries, the Mirana, the Lina, and the Win Range, right? Kind of the three that you're looking at most of the time.
Adrian tao nhau. Mấy người đến cái bà. Cô boy. Cô boy, đúng là cô boy.
You probably were going to think about picking.
Cô boy ready với là cô boy.
Go for a melee carry, considering that you've already got like a Nyx Assassin. You're probably going to have a melee offlaner as well, so it's going to be like a lot of heroes that really need to be in the face of the Timber Sword.
Cô boy, look, cô boy, cô boy.
You've got to pick here, and then an Archer.
Ready với là cô boy.
It's coming in from Lina, but Alchemist is also one of those heroes that can really kind of keep pace with her because of how much gold that he gets from the Gravel's Greed, and just be nice and tanky, get yourself a BKB early on, build in that Blink Dagger, get on top of this squishy Lina. You know, another one of these from Extreme, and the Alchemist can really just tear shreds through the Lina, and it's another one of those heroes that can fall back on with a lot of this flexibility as they get through the draft as well.
Alchemist. What a hero. We saw it yesterday not necessarily have the best prospect when being played by BB Team up against Team Zero, but still flexible. You have now a stun that they didn't really have beforehand. If you go to the Blink Dagger route, obviously a way to start fights. I would still like XM to be the one that does that primarily, but like you said, anybody could really play this one. What else are they cooking now for Extreme Game? What's missing? I need some... There's some tower pressure with the Enchantress, but I still need a bit more damage on this lineup right now. It still does feel... Yeah, the heroes on one dub are not very tanky, they're fairly squishy, but I still want a little bit more punch and oomph coming out of Extreme. Either more oomph in the damage department or more...
Single Jetry, out there. Kubo relationship la single la Kubo teaching over.
Because you have final overall pick for Extreme as well, you can really put yourself in a good position where you can just kind of be like, okay, XM's going to be our Timber player, that's where we're going to get a lot of our explosive damage, and then we can pick Arme, one of these other heroes.
And Kuboကဲလို့မရဘူးပေါ့ကျွန်တော် single ကြောင်းနဲ့ကဲလို့မရတော့ဘူး Kubo အဲ့လိုပြောချင်တာလား Kubo တီးလို့ပါ
Alright, they're going to go for a little bit more of the team fighting lockdown in the Rubik here, so this is what I was saying, where, you know, in the draft now, you've got this last overall pick where you can kind of decide what you really are lacking when it comes to transitioning some of these heroes. You know, if XXS picks up a Timbersaw, maybe he wants to be a little bit more of the aura-based Timber. You can have a lot of that damage, and then your physical damage comes in from Arme on the Alchemist, and then you just give XM one of these heroes that kind of just starts fights for you. Or, you know, you put Timber into that middle lane, and then you just pick another one of these heroes, maybe like a Gacha pick for Arme as we get a little bit deeper. So, on W, they open up with the Primal Beast. Another one of those heroes that is just really good to pick in the Rubik, because Rubik, I mean, the only really spell that he likes to steal is Pulverize. All the others are kind of mid for Rubik, so I like this Primal Beast response that deals pretty well with basically all the heroes for XG.
5 seconds
I'm loving this Primal. Back in the day when Primal was first like on the come up, I remember that this
Johnny Gay
would often play
do we die do ama bo Kubo ye do ama bo
he was doing that all the time. But obviously time has
Johnny do it Johnny Gay do we die Kubo
is eventually
ကဲကြတော့ဗော Kubo ရဲ့အဲ့ဒါဆိုလို့ရှိရင်လေ
and then suddenly Timbersaw
Kubo ဆုံးကြောက်ဘူးမလား
Enchantress start hating
ကြောက်ရတော့ AC ပဲကြောက်ကြမရှိတော့
like what I'm seeing I
Kubo ပဲကြည့်ဟဲ့လား Kubo ရဲ့ skill တွေကိုကြည့်ပြီးကြောက်ရလိုက်
You mentioned in the previous game
a
after
bit
more into the bag to see
okay Kubo ပြောပြီ Kubo ပြောတဲ့အလုံးနဲ့ညီမလား Kubo ရောက်မှတွေ့မယ်နော်
It doesn't feel as immediately
MK မဟုတ်ဘူးတဲ့
previous ones were But I imagine that the last pick is gonna bring
ကိုဘောပြောနေလုံးနဲ့ညီမလားလာရင်တော့တွေ့ပြီနော်အေးပြောနေလုံးနဲ့မညီလို့ကတော့ကိုဘောနဲ့ကညီပြီပဲ
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I think that can
They can't want to see them
probably
play
have
though.
a lot of these heroes that are extremely flexible. Like it's also another scenario where you're looking at this Rubik being like, this could potentially be a mid Rubik, and that's kind of the state of Dota we're in right now, where there are a lot of heroes that aren't as shoebox as what they previously were. Whereas you look at this 1W team and you kind of know what's going on, right? Like it's going to be a primal mid
10 seconds
or primal
remaining.
mid in the offlane. You're going to have a Lina as a carry. You're going to have your Nyx in that offlane as well.
5
Then it'll be a Shadow
seconds
Demon
remaining.
5, and you're basically for 1W just trying to potentially figure out what this last remaining pick is going to be. So it's either going to be a mid or a carry for them. So this is where things start to get a little bit interesting for 1W. And
Stone Super
whereas for the
bad
side of Extreme, you're looking at them like, basically, I
Brian, give me loud there,
support. You could probably have an educated guess and say the Rudik is a support as well, but still a
I'm
little
a
bit
bucket.
more flexibility. So, I mean, what's the?
10 seconds
Did it have to be the
remaining.
monkey here?
5 seconds remaining.
I mean, they could pick Monkey themselves, couldn't they?
Yeah, they definitely could. I think they potentially could be in a scenario where if you
Entire
pick
team
monkey,
pick.
then they just kind of like Huskar you, and then you just go, oh, okay, well, I guess our monkey lane's kind of doo-doo.
Guess we're playing offlane Monkey today, boys.
Yeah, it's like
We'll go enjoy life.
that's the one problem with the way that 1W has drafted is if you pick some of these heroes, you can make it
Lash-
telegraphed
Lash
the way
Ram
things
mid.
are going. So support Leshrac.
Surely call that, right?
Sweden Strong has played it before, and that was what their win was yesterday. Was a pos for Leshrac.
But then are we
10
putting the
seconds
Shadow Demon mid
remaining.
then? In that position?
5
Listen, I
seconds
didn't get that far into the brainwaves, alright? I just saw Leshrac, saw Sweden Strong play it yesterday and said, yeah, that's a support. Probably is going to be Cheers here because this is one of their most key heroes
Pangolia
against
Pango
Leshrac, so
Pango
this is probably a lot of comfort for them. Yeah, it is going to be Cheers. Okay, alright. I was cooking a little bit too much there.
I'm looking at this Pango and I think now I'm starting to see what the plan is for Extreme. The plan is, my friend, is to do what we did to you in the first 15, 60 minutes of the game, run at you forever. This is not gonna, I'll imagine that the only time they'll ever be sitting back farming is Army just like, hey guys, I need like 90 seconds for the next item. But my goodness, the pace that you can set with those drafts, strong lanes on either side, you know, you have Rubik Timber, Ench with the Alchemist, Pango mid should do just fine against the Leshrac. But the thing is, his movements across the map can't necessarily be matched by the Leshrac, right? So he's incentivized to spend as little time in the lane as humanly possible, just going around, killing people off. And all of these lanes, if Pango shows up, right, there is kills everywhere, no matter where he ends up on the map. Again, like I mentioned, these heroes aren't that tanky on the side of 1W. We can get there eventually, you know, some Leshrac getting the BKB, Bloodstone, Primal just being Primal, but overall, man, this Extreme Gaming draft, I'm calling it right now, Fluke. This game is not going to last longer than 30 minutes. I'm calling it right now.
Okay, alright. 30 minutes. That's a nice little call. I do feel like that Extreme have some very strong heroes. I think my one question is Munkushi's going to have some troubles. I think like they're going to start out nice and well with this Lina lane. You know, Timbersaw and Rubik aren't really going to be able to put too much pressure onto this Lina lane, especially with the Shadow Demon behind her. But as you said, all it takes is XM to have a half-decent lane. He rotates with a power rune at level 6. He walks towards Munkushi's lane, and then he rolling thunders the Lina, and she's dead. You know, like it's basically how this game is going to go. So I feel like XG are definitely within the driver's seat, but there are some good signs here for 1W. I like the fact that they've decided to pick up this Lina. I think they can put all of their eggs into her basket. My one question is, can this Leshrac get off the ground? I'm not 100% sure that this Leshrac's going to have a fun time.
Well, we're about to figure it out together, my friend, as we get into the second game, the final game for both of these squads here in the group stage on the road to the International. Before we forget, let's do this. Total magic damage by 25 minutes. Who's going to have done the most?
XXS?
I think XXX, yeah. As well, total number of player deaths at game's end. Oof. I'm saying 26 to 40.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that.
Highest net worth at 10 minutes. Guess who I'm picking on that one?
Ame?
30 seconds to
It's
battle.
possible. It's possible.
And then team in
So Ame with all the net worth in the world on the Alchemist.
You
and
got
then
Roman,
the
yeah,
Extreme
hey,
gets
baby.
more Aegises. I think that's also one detriment I don't like about the 1W.
Can't worry,
Neither of these
can't
teams
worry.
are great at taking Roshan. but 1Ws, they feel a bit more susceptible inside the pitch, you know. Some big roll, Timber Soul coming through, Alchemist getting a big AoE stun. I mean, sure, they do have Primal and Leshrac, but it's not going to be an easy game by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, they definitely don't take it as fast. The Pangolier and the Alchemist can definitely take it a little bit quicker for the side of Extreme, so that's probably the one positive that I have. But I feel like if this game is going fast enough, the Roaches won't matter. You know, like if the Alchemist just hits his like 20-minute timing where he's got like BKB, Blink, Ratty, like it's going to be very hard for them to try and deal with him. And you know, it's going to be like, what, basically like Blink, probably like maybe a pipe on XM is what we saw from Malrine yesterday. XXF can go for things like the Blade Mel, looks like what he's trying to go for early on here. So if they have those items very early on, I don't think these Roaches are really going to matter all too much. But this is where it really starts and kind of ends, I think, for 1W. You can see pretty straightforward how this Pangolier needs to be the one that unlocks these side lanes. So if you're Chiro Jr., you're really just trying to punish any of these movements that come from XM. Try and take his tower, try and take a bit of extra fire from the side.
Cloud is in trouble. Ame channeled up the full duration stun, and Cloud does not have access to the onslaught. Has Trample trying to get away. And he does not. DY throws in the spear and gets the kill. First blood drawn by Extreme Gaming in the bottom lane.
Yeah, cool guys, don't look at explosions. That's always my favorite thing about watching these Enchantress players is when they know they get that first blood, they throw it and they're like, yeah, that's all the damage I need. And they look around and things look cool. So DY starting out nice and strong here. This is a very powerful lane with the Enchantress as well as the Alchemist, purely just because Acid Spray plus the Enchantress auto attacks are just so hard to deal with. And this is what I touched on, right? Like you've got this Nyx Assassin who, yeah, is going to be annoying with Mind Flare, but if your DY users go, okay, I'm playing as a Nyx, I'm not going to play with my creeps, I'm going to play all about Impetus, and I'm just going to throw auto attacks at this Primal Beast, and you really just have to try and cut these creatures as much as possible. And this is why we really haven't seen a lot of these double melee lanes all too much, purely because you get into these scenarios here where you have one very strong position 5, and it just becomes in this kind of pulling scenario where you just have to play such an awkward way of playing Dota.
Certainly going to take some time before we see the impact of the Nyx Assassin be known. Probably going to have to wait until he gets called up to the top lane. They'll be like, hey bro, lane's pushed up. We can maybe put some pressure onto Xingqiu or something.
Let's be bit show no.
Yeah, like as you were saying, like Xingqiu is probably the guy they're gonna try and kill. Like, I think once they get level 6 on Munkushi, they're probably gonna try and get a kill there on XXS. But the question is like, if they've won the lane so hard in the bottom side, will DY not just make a rotation at the same time as well and kind of just follow around sweet and strong? So this is kind of the double-edged sword when it comes to playing these kinds of lanes. Is like, yeah, I can make a rotation towards another lane, but if the carry is able to kind of just sit in this lane long enough, then it doesn't really matter because you're just going to get followed by one of these other supports.
So bottom going very, very well. We should be seeing a pretty standard build from this Alchemist. I don't expect anything completely off pocket. He's probably not going to buy that many Aghanim Scepters in this game, right? There's a couple of decent ones, but I don't think they're very high up on the priority list.
No, I think it's, I mean, for a carry, Alki definitely has to be one of those scenarios where, like, if you're, like, falling out of control, I don't think there's really many heroes in the game right now that, I don't want to say rely on Ag Scepters, but, like, go from being, like, a 5-tier hero to, like, a 9 just because they have an Ag Scepter. Want to rush it. So, it definitely probably maybe once he gets 6 slotted, we'll see it. If like XM really wants it, or maybe Xingqiu's like begging for it or something. I don't know, man. Like it would have to be one of those scenarios where like there would have to be some extenuating circumstances for it to happen.
Camp getting stacked up by Xingqiu, ready to be farmed up by the Alchemist once he has his Radiance ready.
See, that's how he gets his Ags, bro. He stacks camps for him. He says, "Ah, mate, remember all those camps I stacked for you? Now give me an Ags."
You have it in the contract. Every 5th camp must buy me like one of the items for the Aghanims.
That was a nice dodge there from XSS. Just a little timber chain to get himself away from the LSA. This is something that I want to talk to the timber spammers about.
တမင်ကြလာပြီတမင်
We'll talk about it in a second, because look who come first. You're wondering, is DY going to respond to the rotation? It's the other way around, my friend. DY came first. They're looking to try and bring down Munkushi. So Respect saves him with the disruption for now. They end up bringing down DY. Timber Chain misses, but XXX still finds the kill. The question is, does he escape from this? He's trying to, getting himself back. Timber Chain once more, and they do not have the damage to kill him. Shinkyu zones them back with the Fade Bolt. Alright, nice stuff. You lose DY, but the bigger prize is killing off Munkushi in the lane.
Yeah, that's exactly what they wanted, right? And you can see this
So
is
yeah,
why
down,
the
down,
Nexus Assassin is strong against those creeps. The Mind Flare just instantly gets rid of that creep underneath the tower, but Munkushi was already at critical HP. Did go down, but just kind of circling back to my facet chat. I've seen, I can't remember what the other one is called, but the infinity symbol on the chakram, instead of this shredder one. I just saw it then. Does very minimal damage, but I didn't realize it slowed. So maybe that's why, like, you see some of these timbers picking up. I just feel like if you're a timber player, you're like, more damage on my chakram? Hell yeah! Like, why would I not want that?
Personally, I like the slow one because it's more effective at more stages of the game. Just allows me to play a little bit differently. I can pull off crazy moves like that, for example. If he doesn't have that slow onto them and he's still underneath the tier 1, he definitely dies. But under these conditions, you can poke and prod a little bit more. This one is a more like, I think if you're intending to be the big carry of your team, you go for the other one with the bigger damage. But if you're going to be like a space creator slash tank up, anchor person, distraction for the team, I think this one's a little bit better.
Yeah, I definitely, I agree with that. I think it's probably going to be very situational based. That takes down DY though on the bottom side, so DY is just trying to just stop a lot of these creep
Top lane, they're trying to go onto XXX here, and they do succeed in doing so. Shira Jr. showed up, they get the kill, and he also has level 3 Diabolic Edict. They're going to put some pressure onto the tower as well, with the Sea Dragon to boot as well.
Yeah, so they're probably going to get, I mean, they got most of the way through this tower with that first rotation, so you don't usually see that much pressure on a tier 1 tower this early on. Usually it's the mid tower that you're, expecting that rotation, but you can just see that Chiro Jr. understands that he wants to be a little bit more of a nuisance in this game. Respect. There's the orb.
He gets it. And then now Chiro Jr. is here as well. They're providing in some damage. Going for Shinkyu, tosses the
Now all of a
sudden Chiro Jr. out of mana in a bit of a precarious position. XM will follow him with the rotation, roll up, being sure to kill. I can completely understand Respect being there, as they do end up killing off the Rubik at the very end. And I don't know what Chiro Jr. was doing.
Yeah. He just stuck around as well, like, maybe they were just feeling like they just had enough burst damage to be able to take down anybody who was responding. Not expecting XXS to be in the area either, but beautiful rotation there by XM as well. I was a little sad that he used the Rolling Thunder and didn't get the kill onto the left track, but getting the follow-up kill there onto Respect just means it was all the worse for them. And now it's just a scenario where you can really see that 1W trying to play with that little bit of extra pace. I really like the rotations that they're making from Chiro Jr., but they just need to make sure that they're nice and clean. Maybe they're going to kill an XM here.
Gonna try for it in the river, but he does have access to a shield crash. Swashbuckle coming back up in 7. Don't think they'll find this one. This is the spell that needs to, I don't think needs to be changed, I think needs to be removed from Dota. Shield crash. It's such a silly ability. Just, how many times have you looked at it here like, this Pango, we could maybe go on him, but he just presses W, survives anything. What's the point, guys?
Yeah, I think I'm going to sound like a massive contrarian right now. I think barriers were a mistake.
I agree. XXX is going to get disrupted by Respect. It's going to save him for a little bit of time. Unfortunately, he's there with the stun. XM, he jumps into the fray. But like you said, he doesn't have Rolling Thunder. It just came back on cooldown, but it comes back a little bit too late. He is dead for sure. If he had roll there, he goes in with all those heroes clumped up, that fight would have looked amazing. A little bit too impatient on this Tangle mid.
Yeah, just feeling a little bit tankier than what he was. Unfortunately, didn't get the shield crash extra barrier there to keep himself alive. But you can just see that 1W, they understand that the heroes that they are playing, they need to set a certain tempo, right? They need to start getting in the face of these heroes. They can't just let Arme, freely sit down and hit creams. Yeah, he's probably going to sit back and farm, but you need to punish the rest of the map for him doing that, right? You can't just you have to force him into thinking that maybe he needs to be proactive to try and get some more of these objectives. But they've only taken 1 tower here, Sam. So, you know, it's like Divine Medicine in the game, they've taken to 1 T1 tower. I would like to see them with the next catapult wave, try and see if they can do the same thing they did to top with mid. Just take all 5 heroes mid. Maybe you leave Munkushi out in the jungle for a little bit longer because he is so close to that Maelstrom. But just try and send 4 or 5 heroes towards the tier 1 tower. Just really force Extreme to try and make some of these rotations. You get some good deep wards as well. You've got good deep vision here from Sweden Strong as well. So it's going to be a great opportunity now for the One Wales to try and take some more of these towers.
Sweden Strong was going on hunting, maybe hoping to find DY here in the trees. Unfortunately, will not be the case, and DY is very safe underneath some sentry wards. In fact, Sweden Strong walks underneath a ward sentry combo, so XM knows that he's coming. Will easily be able to get away from this one. A little bit unfortunate. That's also something that you have to worry about when it comes to XG. For the longest time, right, DY was the ward guy. Literally, Chinese players would make guides on how to ward like DY in particular. And in this game, when you're playing an invis hero like the Nexus Assassin, you're going to find out very quickly how annoying it can be dealing with this vision. And now bottom though, Cloud goes in, they bring in respect. They're hoping for the first kill they have in the game onto Ahmed. They do get it. He threw out the stun before he died though. But Munkushi comes in through the twin gate. Might end up being a mistake. As Cloud is the first on the floor, taken out by XXX. XM finding the stun onto respect. They want to Shadow Demon, but he's still alive for now. XM will kill him off with the Swashbuckle Shield Crash combo. Munkushi came back, laying in some damage from the high ground. They bring down XXX. DY, one more right click will bring him down too. All of a sudden, XM feeling very, very isolated where he's at, but not isolated enough, because he at least kills the Lina on the way down. Ends up being a chaotic bloodbath in this bottom half of the map. But nonetheless, we do have a victory overall for the 1W lineup.
Yeah, it's exactly what I wanted to see from them, right? I just want to see them just kind of throw heroes at this Alchemist, throw heroes at these towers, and just force reactions from Extreme, because they're such a high tier and such a strong team that if you just allow them to kind of play their own game, they're just going to choke out the map for you, right? Like, they're just going to take it, whatever they want. They're going to get this network lead. They're going to be able to out the middle part of the map, and they're the ones that need to be aggressive.
Thank you. Surprisingly tanky. And ended up stealing, well, it doesn't matter, he's dead. Took them a little bit longer than they thought. Hey man, fluffy hat makes the difference.
He gets 1,000 HP. He's actually a lot tankier than I thought, but this is exactly what I wanted to see from the Wild Wales. I want to see them just keep going forward. Shira Junior's bought a Blink Dagger first on the left track, so this just goes to show that they're in this mentality of it is time for us to just go hard. You know, like Extreme, they already locked up first place. At this point, you're probably, I think, not even able to get yourself out of this bottom 2 for this group either. If you're the One Wales, considering what they're 1 and 4 now, so. This is all about them just trying to find a little bit of source and seeing that sweet spot of pace and over-aggression that they want to try and hit, because we touched on it at the top of this broadcast. This tournament is going to be about speed, and it's going to be about who has that fine line between farming and still being extremely fast in the map.
Cloud with the credit for the tier 1 tower bottom. He's going to start building in towards a BKB. Now the supports for 1W come to the top lane, hoping to defend their own tower. I think this is also an integral part of them winning this game. Defending their towers and making sure that this, when they eventually are ready to fight on the side of XG, denying them places where it makes sense for them to make XM, he's gonna get caught out here. Does he have enough to survive? Going to the Rolling Thunder, but there's too much AoE damage from Shira Junior. Well done from him. And this Blink Dagger already starting to pay itself dividends, man.
Yeah, it was just a nice little rotation there from Sweden Strong. I wasn't 100% sold they were going to be able to get that kill, because I wasn't sure if Shira Junior was able to get that.
Dude, this Blink already again. Without the Blink, they can't catch DY, but he can Blink on top of him, split earth him. He gets stunned up. They're looking for Shinkyu as well. Cloud wants to find the Pulverize on the edge of the tier 2 tower. They get it. So they'll be able to blow him up. Munkushi Jr. or Munkushi just already working on the tier 1 tower mid. Game 2 looking markedly different from game 1 for the 1W.
Yeah, exactly. It's just all about pace, right? Like you look at the lineup for Extreme, and they don't really have that great reactionary heroes. Like Timber's not really, you know, if he's, you know, not at that point where he's very scary. The Alchemist definitely isn't going to be a hero that wants to react. And same with the Enchantress, a hero that kind of in terms of fight for you. So they're just really kind of doing a good job of just identifying the power spikes that they have for their and really being able to win a lot of these fights. XM wants to go in
Trying to
though.
force a fight middle. They were hoping to go into Chiro Jr., but Cloud in the trees came out.
啊，他对我有理解。
Travels down XM and the Pangolier is dead. Sweden Strong should still die though. An impetus shot connects onto him. And XXX considering the chase going forward. Ame throws out the stun, but they are realizing that without having XM available, they just don't have the disables necessary to take these kind of fights.
Yeah, they're trying to get a lot of this counter aggression back, right? They're like, okay, Munkushi's not around here. They're a little bit low on the mana and the HP. They've probably got a few spells on cooldown. Let's try and see if we can get a fight going. Considering now that Ame has this Blade Mail as well as the Radiance, they've got a lot of Blade Mails in this game. They're trying to reflect a lot of that damage that comes in from Chiro Jr., but they understand that they've kind of hit this small little item timing where they're like, okay, we're pretty strong with our Alchemist on Ame, so we want to see if we can try and get him involved in these fights, see if he gets a kill. Doesn't work out. They lose XM again, who, I mean, you know, fanboying a little bit at the start, XM was set up for a very strong game, but as soon as that mid game happened, it didn't turn out.
Check out Munkushi. Able to get a pretty big kill right now onto the Timber Sword. So that's XXX being delayed even further. Munkushi getting stronger, and this Lina late game, man. They don't actually have any answers on the side of XG. We're gonna get to a point in the game where you can kill the Pangolier during his roll. You know, you can just magic burst through the Timbersaw and Alchemist. We've seen how Alchemist fares up against these late game range carries, and it's definitely not well.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those scenarios, especially because they've got a lot of good heroes at being able to save her and get her those resets as well. So DY, oh okay. Yeah, that was a spicy one there. I saw the blink in the corner of my eye, and DY was just around the corner. They want to try and fight with Ame. Okay, no. But yeah, I do agree with you, right? It's going to get to a point where XM's going to be the guy that needs to be in front of him. It doesn't really matter.
He's got Gansari Bini.
Speaking of XM,
Gansari Bini.
Like he's a support right now. Mostly softened up by Sweden Strong. Star was just there for the cleanup duty. So when you're starting to get soloed by the enemy position 4 practically, yeah. Things are not looking so hot for XG in this mid lane.
Yeah, it's gotten to the point where he went for this Blade Mail to try and be tanky in these fights, but he isn't tanky in these fights anymore, you know? Like, in the first couple of fights that he had it, he was reflecting a decent amount of damage, but there's just so much burst that can come out now from the one whales that it's going to be all too hard for him to try and survive with this Blade Mail, and he's really going to be on kind of recovery mode going for this Blink Dagger to see if he can try and get some of these fights in the middle part of the game, but you know, kind of all eggs in the Ame basket now for Extreme.
Do you think he should have went for Blink Dagger first instead of swapping over for the Blade Mail?
I mean, I think the Blade Mail is a good choice in the game, but I think there was just too many fights that just went bad for them. Like that fight where, you know, XM, he came in, he was the first one to get gone on, and then he respawned, and then he basically instantly TP'd back towards the mid lane and died like straight again. Like that was kind of when the Blade Mail was bad. Like,
Sweden Strong has a dating on already on this next assassin. XXX jumping in on top of him, but here comes Cloud. Beautiful onslaught into the corner now, run to this Timber. Not dead just yet, but eventually will as he gets trampled into the death. XM rolling around, trying to at least break up this fight somewhat. Realizing as the roll expires, then he needs to get the hell out of here. So they committed roll, they committed the... just roll, okay, nothing else. Just roll, not so bad.
yeah, and in that fight, we kind of see the problem that you have now with Rolling Thunder when you're a little bit behind against these heroes. Like, he understood that he had to just try and commit for a kill and get the kill on a Sweden Strong, but all it takes is a disruption. You know, like your Respect is just sitting well without a range. He just puts the disruption in. Sweden Strong sits inside of it. Rolling Thunder has to roll away, and at that point, he bounces into Chiro Jr., who then gets bounced on high ground. You're like, well, okay, the fight's kind of over at this point. So,
XXX showed up to the bottom lane. As soon as he keeps his head out into some vision, the rest of One Dub is there. They eviscerate him. I must say, the difference in this game, when Respect is around, just being able to save people, elongate this fight, frustrate Extreme Gaming has been night and day. And Cloud, Fred Double helping to get a kill on bottom, was already moved towards middle, trampling down onto the Rubik, then onto Chiro Jr. 3 heroes are gone off the map in the blink of an eye here, Fluke.
Yeah, confidence is key, man. Like, it's what it's like in any sport, and even in esports, when you come into a tournament like this,
Radiant structures
the shackles have been removed. You know, One Wales, they came into this series like, okay, if we get ourselves a 2-0, we can start looking towards potentially being in the top 2 for our group. We lost that first game, they go, all right, stuff it. There's not much else left for us to lose. Let's just play fast, let's play our kind of Dota. And this is the 1W that we're expecting.
This is what I wanted to see from them. Now the question is, can they save Cloud here? Isn't it BKB? It doesn't seem like Extreme Gaming has that much interest in chasing him. They find the LSA onto DY. The Enchantress setting up the fight. Munkushi opts a BKB to avoid the Rolling Thunder. Just in a TP out. Doesn't want anything more to do with this fight. Spectre will get tagged in by the Rolling Thunder. Can he get out of here? Delays proceeding with the disruption. But unfortunately, his death is secured. And it's a soul disruption as well onto the Rubik. I suppose it's still nice for XG to get that kill, but that was not easy, and they didn't get the most high value target either.
Yeah, it would have been nice for them to try and get the kill there onto Cloud, but you know the BKBs are just a little bit too strong. They are starting to. A little bit too.
I don't know. Ame channeling the stun, but he doesn't have a blink dagger, so he can't get in. Now he's stunned himself. Chira Jr. has the split earth, but doesn't want to actually let it wind out. I'm very surprised that they chose not to approach that. They had Pulverize, you had Onslaught, Uproars available. I feel like they could have gotten that kill.
Bro, BKB shield is
showing himself in towards that middle lane. He didn't want to try and overcommit just yet. Did not have a link up with the team, so yeah, 1W, they're showing a little bit of that restraint that we're hoping to see from these. Nice and crisp Dota, they're playing nice and fast. But they're not over-aggressing, which is a big thing that can happen sometimes when you get in towards these games, is you're starting to, you know, dominate a team like Extreme. You're like, nobody else has beaten these guys just yet in our group. We're doing so well, guys. Let's go. And that's kind of what happened to Heroic, right? They get a little bit too big for their boots in some of these fights, and then they end up just losing out a little bit later on. So, doing a good job of just keeping this game nice and consistent, keeping themselves in the ground, and really forcing XG to make some of these bad decisions.
Aegis now in tow for Munkushi. I would have preferred it on the Leshrac. I think Leshrac is like top 5 of the best ones, but Lina can still be pretty good with this Aegis. 7k net worth lead for themselves. Yes, Ame is obviously the highest net worth in the game, but the rest of his cores is not really able to contribute that much. And he's being hunted by Sweet and Strong, but there aren't any heroes nearby. I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, with no Leshrac, with no Lina. Just a scouting mission right now. Don't have all too much coverage of the odd Sentry Ward combination for this Nyx Assassin. They do have a decent amount of sentries that are floating around in key little areas for them, but they've done a really good job for the side of the One Wales to try and get rid of a lot of this vision here, to just try and give Sweet and Strong those clean avenues. You can see there was a nice little line that he was able to make from, you know, the bottom T1 all the way through towards the triangle, where he knew that he was completely A-okay. That was just a very small miss there onto, what was it, DY that was in the
Also, you know, they took the challenge on 1-win, and the fact that the 1-dub has this Tommy, it went towards the Nyx Assassin. If they find Enchantress, Timbersaw, who have already been struggling with staying alive in general, now you get hit by the Vendetta with the break, whew, gonna die really, really fast.
Yeah, it's a lot of damage, so it's going to be very scary for these supports to try and keep themselves away from the Nyx Assassin, considering they don't really have the most control of the lanes just yet. Disrespect is doing such a good job of just being able to solidify a lot of these areas they want to try and play around with.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Sweden Strong's about to pick up a Dagon 3 as Munkushi finishes off the tier 2 tower bottom. And they smoke up immediately, they want to go punish somebody. And it's good old DY right in front of us. And DY now does see the smoke break onto Cloud, but they don't know in which direction he's at. Hiding in this little alcove. He's just chilling. This is one of those you just like, you're hiding underneath the bed, you're like, please don't look, please don't look, please don't look.
And it's like one of the gambles that the Cloud has to make as well, right? Because there are so many crevices for you to try and hide in, that he's just like, I'm going to onslaught in one direction or another, and if I find you, I find you, if I don't, whatever. He's also picked up the Ag Scepter as well on the Primal Beast, and now with the gem up on Chira Jr., really starting to put themselves in a very dominant position to try and end this game. BKB fully completed as well as the boots travel for Munkushi, so they're at a position now for the side of the one Wales that they are kind of hitting their critical mass where I still have a little bit of room to grow, but it's definitely strong enough for them to start cracking into this high ground. Maybe with the next Aegis.
2 minutes left on this one though. Still a bit of time. It's probably going to be one of those farming Aegises. They'll use the time. Just farm up. Maybe Chiro Jr. can start building into getting his Bloodstone as well. He already has the BKB available. I feel really strong at that point. But there's no rush for them, right? They're the ones, if you're at this stage of the game, ahead against Alchemist, there's no rush. You know that this guy will never come back. He'll never be strong enough to really contest you. So take your time, farm up your items. Don't worry about it too much.
Yeah, it's a position where you know that XXS as well as XM have also had to go for these much more team focused. Oh, okay, that's a DY. Much more team focused kind of builds, right? You know, XXS doesn't really have that much damage just yet. He's gone for this pipe as well as the Kaya, and XM is Blade now. So it's going to be a little while until those heroes start to come online. You only really have to worry about Arman. I think at this point you're more than happy to try and take that fight if you're more cushy. So you're in a very good position for the one Wales to just take down these outer towers, and maybe you can try and have a sniff at a high ground. You have to be very, very careful of just being caught out by like a Rolling Thunder, but picks things get scary.
XM trying to roll himself away. He'll succeed in doing so, and XXX was in front of the tower. Munkushi opted to go towards XM instead, so both of them will end up surviving. Still though, it kind of sucks that at this stage of the game, these are the only plays you can do. Distract them, try and create space and time. And sadly, I think it would be one thing if it was an SF that you have, if you're the one that have the Lina. I still keep coming back to the fact that it's Alchemist, man. And Alchemist that also doesn't have Blink Dagger, so how does he even get into these fights? We've seen so many times in this game, he'll run up, waddling there, wants to throw the concoction, but one dub had two heroes that are always sitting very far back in the leader and the Lesh. One hero that is super mobile, one hero that's invis, and one hero that saves. It's such a hard game without the Blink Dagger to find your targets in these engagements.
Yeah, he needs some sort of mobility, because I feel like it is basically Arme's job to try and jump in the back and take down Respect. Because, you know, you're looking at XM, I think he really just kind of needs to roll around and try and cause a bit of chaos in the front line, so the Leshrac as well as the Lina don't just have this kind of free reign, and then they can start to buy a little bit of that extra time for Arme to get these extra kills. So without that Blink Dagger, things are going to get a little weird. Arme just clicked out of smoke, so...
Oh no.
They know that Arme was smoked at least.
Well, doesn't seem like this particular smoke is going to go anywhere. Maybe they just want to lay out some vision in the meantime. We just had a Dagon 4 arriving for the Nyx Assassin. That is the first Dagon 4 of the tournaments.
Hell yeah. Hopefully it's not the last from Sweden Strong. Let's go, baby. I was... Like, obviously, you know, Dagon 1 is a very important item for Nyx Assassin. It is the build these days. So that's when you usually see some transitions, like you see like a Blink Dagger, 4-star Solar Crest, Glimmer. But Sweden understands that this game is actually going to slow down, because they actually want this game to slow down. So going for a full Dagon means that he 100% has a lot of these solo pickoffs and doesn't need his teammates to try and come in and provide that extra bit of damage. So that can kind of turn this game on its head.
Well, he also just picked up a ceremonial robe as his neutral item. That is perfect. Down bottom, Sweden Strong. Look who he's found. It's DY. That is a dead Enchantress. Like you mentioned, the solo kill potential is there. The fight is still breaking out down bottom though. Cloud going in with the onslaught towards Arme. They found the big carry. He activated BKB, but it's not going to matter. Munkushi is here as Cloud holds him with the Pulverize. And Arme is dead. 70 seconds. No buyback for the Alchemist.
No buyback, no BKB, no nothing. And this is kind of just the way the game went, right? Like, you were looking at this XG draft, like, yes, this Alchemist can provide you with a little bit of tempo to try and play around with, but it was all about this Pangolier, because you had this Timber and the Alchemist who were not going to move around as cores. And XM, unfortunately for him, yes, it was a half-decent start against the Leshrac, but Chira was just able to make much better rotations to what XM was. He was the one that was being aggressive, right? Like we saw him make that first rotation to the top, got himself a couple of kills. Yeah, Chira lost his life, but there's so much extra network.
Kushi will be caught out here, but they just don't have the damage without the Alchemist. XM committed the full Rolling Thunder for this one. Can they get anything out of it? No, they cannot. They have to retreat onto the high ground, and here comes Cloud, ready to punish them. They find DY first and foremost, kill him off without buyback. They still could reach for more respect. Disruption out onto the Timbersaw. But they're just using the time to beat down onto the tier 3 tower.
They
We're
have
about 30 minutes in.
For Arme to come back though. You have to be mindful of that.
I think we get the tier 3. I'm not sure about the ranks. Chira Jr. though blinks up. BKB active. Just goes straight onto Shin Q. And the stun comes back onto him, but got that debuff immunity, so Arme can't do anything with the concoction. And now they're just watching Munkushi deal with the base, and XXX dies in the blink of an eye. XM going in, hoping to do something. Arme can't even get to the fight. Pulverize will stun him off right next to XM. XM already gone. Arme will sew out the stun, but it's not really going to make a difference. Already zoned back into the fountain. Cloud though, taking a little bit of damage from DY. These impetus shots are no joke. But still, nobody from Wonder is dead, and now, wow, DY suffering the wrath of Sweden Strong as he picks up a Dagon freaking 5. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, Sweden Strong's had a very, very strong game on the Six Assassin. I think everybody for the One Wales have definitely pulled something out for this last game. And this is just so cool to see these guys, going into a couple of tournaments each year. They're able to qualify for ESL 1 Birmingham. Weren't able to get there over to some visa issues. They had a couple of good tournament showings. You know, they had a good showing in their own tournament sake as well, where they had a pretty good group stage against the likes of Gaming Gladiators and Team Spirit. Now coming into TI, which is probably one of the biggest tournaments they have qualified for ever. Maybe it goes to show that these guys are still here to party. They're potentially going to finish their group stages off with, what, 2 and 4? That's pretty respectable. It's not all too bad. Still is probably going to mean that they will be picked by a team in a different group, but it just goes to show that they know how to play fast, right? They know how to play one of their strategies, which is this Leshrac, which has been something they've been very, very good with in the past. So it does give us a nice little indicator that these guys are not just going to be, you know, 0-6 Andes and just be out of the tournament without showing their worth.
Smoke up. Extreme Gaming taking potentially their final roll of the dice here in this game. They've already secured top seed in Group A. I would certainly like to make it a perfect group. Ame in a bit of an awkward position. Chira Jr. breaks in first, looking towards DY. But he gets stunned.
Lấy miếng để tiếp vào, lấy miếng để tiếp vào.
He is dead without buyback. XM gonna try his best. They're stunning up Chira Jr., but no, Chira Jr. got pushed onto the high ground. So this Leshrac free to just dish in magic damage without getting touched. Munkushi is also throwing in as many right hits.
GG. Concéntrase.
Cita, ¿eh? Se la ha pasado farmeando, ¿no? Claro. Lo mínimo.
Radiant structures are fortified.
And we'll see if they want to stick around though. Elder Dragon.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Again, this Observer Ward. He would have run away.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And will be chased down. At least he's gonna die. I saw Watson starting to move up forward over the high ground, and I thought Luna was gonna continue farming, but Fishman gets a D ward and Watson instantly escapes.
So I was wondering if it is going to be a nullifier game, considering you've already got the Shadow Demon right, but maybe they're just saying, look, we don't want to put too much pressure on the White. Obviously his disruption is going to be incredibly effective against Bean's Grip, so we'd rather just him stay completely hidden, out of sight, out of mind, just not in the team fight at all, and then force the stuff like the Defense Mage, Nightmare, like the Monkey King, Jiggu Mastery, not to be coming up. Even just the Crimson Guard and DMs able to achieve, that's going to go away too.
Demons sticking around inside the top lane. And the rest of Tundra is starting to rotate as well. Without a doubt is dead. It can work through, maybe give him an opportunity to be able to get the Tormentor contest. It will be an actual Fishman.
So outside of Thompson, they are very single target focused on Tundra. That's the other thing that I was really looking at. Like the Solar Crest, Defense Matrix, all that sort of stuff. Solar on Fishman as well. But again, that just gives even more argument towards going into this fight. If you're putting everything up to try and protect one person that gets fallen on because that's what your draft focus on, then
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
time.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Despite losing a couple of tier 2 towers, a couple of heroes, somehow worth lead in E9's favor.
We'll get Francis again. That's it. 9. So 5 deaths out of the 9. For Mr. Ramses, so DM's going to be able to snag that. Unfortunately, 2 teacher towers have gone down. But again, the Semblance lead is staying.
He ended up buying the Ogre Axe and the Mithril Hammer after his death as well, so losing a fair amount of unreliable gold with that. He's always more often when he was the carry, been allergic to buying the BKB, so it's going to be a very different story once he's picking it up. He could be able to just walk away from the Pit of Malice, from the Atos, from all of that, and effectively just force a mean script
Dire's top tower has fallen.
forward to the point where he's actually got that and can be a little bit more reliable out roaming around on the map.
Smart money.
How do we feel about the status of this game, though, considering, again, with off the lanes, it was looking like it was going to be potentially clean victory for Tundra, but Cloud9 pulled this game back. I mean, the kills aren't really representing really the status, and still Tundra felt very strong with taking whatever objectives they want, but we're heading into the mid to late game. Do we feel like Cloud9 are going to start to be able to bring the fight to Tundra?
Potentially. To me, it's still the vast majority of your damage is still going to be coming. Saw how effective the Eclipse has been, but it's past the stage where Eclipse is really going to need to be closing in on a Butterfly for himself. Really effective again against all of this physical damage. I'm not players being built up at this point yet on the side, so that's going to feel really nice. But just beyond that, it's going to be that as the first timing to hopefully get a few successful team fights, and then into the Kanda around that level.
Sunday might try and play behind Ramses, but I want a little bit far away. I like to position the gate as well over the north, just in case if anyone's nearby, they're going to be able to close the distance onto them. The Ramses able to reposition, but unfortunately the Shadow Demon will not escape all the raw damage that Cloud9 have, so Eclipse has to be used. But it's going to stick around to farm the wave. They've got the 4 remaining heroes. No one's going to stand his ground up on the trees, just in case to give them this outpost location to maybe buy some time and give them the vision, but it looks like Cloud9 actually want to stay around. Ramses and aggressive behind him. No, you're not jumping up into Wops, and when he's ready to go with the Lunar Orbit maxed out, now no one, he's been able to catch up to Zartzer as well with the Galacni, holds the sniper into place. Thunder trying to take the fight with a numbers disadvantage, but they are forced to. There is just no escape from them. They have to stay there. Stops Pure from being able to right-click it all. But the Grave is making it so frustrating. Pure might be able to TP up, but the 9-man stops him short. They also catch up Thompson inside the tree line, and Cloud9, they are playing with a bang. An incredible team fight from them.
This is having a game that he likes to forget. Just going for a couple of dives too deep. The only reason he was saved previously was Whitemon there with the Demonic Cleanse, enabling him to just walk on away prior to that BKB, but still just going up into enemy territory on his own, where the direction that they came from, my guy, is probably going to be warded, so still going to delay out that timing a little bit. For them, doesn't look like they've gone and secured that Roshan for themselves, so it's still going to be on the Tundra side in about 20 seconds or so when it respawns, and it's going to be the sort of period where Ramses will have that item.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
I mean, one king would think it's already up to
Yeah, I don't know where the gold went mid lane. Ramses again. Very close. But it's given time for the respawn, so which was maybe an opportunity for Cloud9 just to go straight to Roche. must be frustrating as well for White One in particular. The panel was really harping on the fact that this Shadow Demon game looked incredible when you first picked it. And he had to put himself in a compromised position to protect Ramses, and then it meant that in that fight you could use the full duration Fiend's Grip to stop the damage out of Pure. So we need to see something a little bit different, right? Where you are not getting caught first on Tundra, and where you can help protect the positioning out of the Shadow Demon to really be that nuisance. You stop Fiend's Grip him with the protection of the Purge as well.
On its own, doesn't have buyback either, so I wonder if this actually opens up the Roche pit for C9 to be able to steal it away. I was wondering, like, my main question was, do they go for this now, considering, you know, it's on your side of the map, you've got the Slardar to be able to take it quickly, or are you really looking for that extra layer of defense with Pure still looking to build into his own BKB? It's like they might even both, right? Tier 2 tower and the Roshan if they're wanting to stick up here on the top side of the map.
The response is going to be from Tundra. They do have a lot of their forces down bottom. Thompson's going to shove the wave. Mid's going to get pushed out as well. They will have all 5 heroes up and also outpost at TP2. Teleports are all at the ready as well. Is this a fight you want to take?
I'm not sure when they're already so set up there, and you can just see Kato doing a great job of keeping these lanes sharp down, forcing some sort of a defensive response, or at least making some of the moves a bit more obvious than Andro looking to go for. Did not push this new progression. It goes to say, even with a 12k net worth lead, it's only a 55% win probability for Cloud9. Like, that's how imbalanced we feel like this draft could still be. It's just a matter of Tundra taking the correct fight for themselves, being able to get in onto that backline, blow up Kataomi, blow up Fishman, make sure that White One survives, tell the tale.
It's so crazy the fact that no one's net worth is higher than Thompson. And Thompson, I mean, First Blood and then solo kill into the Monkey. But we really saw, I mean, him to be able to get back in this game and the opportunity with him and the Fiend's Gate just connecting together to deal with the starter. And now you have a Monkey King that is actually able to play Dodo and can really be a big issue for the Sniper, the Dazzle, the Shadow Demon on the backline. We see how he's itemizing BKB, Gleipnir, along with the Agshar can really help out with the positioning. So you were not hoping, at least Tundra's position, weren't hoping the Monkey was going to have farm, but that is not the case now.
They're going to actually go for the Tormentor as well, like the second Tormentor on Tundra's side. Thompson, he's avoided buying the Aghanim Shard for himself for the longest time. You've already got it on both of the supports right now on Tundra, so he will be a chance to be able to get the next one, and that is going to be pretty damn effective, just as an extra layer of lockdown. I've seen him use the Poison Touch a few times onto the Lunar Illusions, and they've stayed perfectly healthy, so you just wipe out 2 Lunar Illusions and provide a little bit of that CC. Going to go a long way towards
and I'm walking down mid. I'm gonna look to go with the smoke. No one flying through the trees to give them the information. 2 tower sieges going to be the call. No one's got a great position along with the wall.
Under attack. Dyer's middle
This is what we weren't really seeing from Cloud9 in the previous game, right? Like them being able to set up their formation in the correct way. Just play behind this Watson position 1 who getting a little bit out of control here with his net worth. They don't have a glyph in this high ground either, and they've got the Roche banner.
He's going to start to go to work to try and attempt it.
Nice lotus. Collected that nullifier back onto Pure.
Starting to set up on Ramses, meanwhile back inside the bottom lane. Watson walks up the high ground as well. Nightmare buying him some time, but the health just goes instantly. Age is taken care of. Ramses, can he find an opportunity to jump in? The blink is continuing to be cancelled, so the starter won't be able to go off the back of the respawn. So difficult with the March, the Glaives, Firestorm, everything. But all the ages they get rid of, and only real cost is the tier 3 tower.
Right, and again, talk about these different timings and...
Oh, one.
Really?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we talk about these timings, they made the most out of that one with the butterfly. They're just going to go straight back. They're going to say, you're going to make this wrap around, we're going to need you to be a little bit quicker with your movement because this is a melee and range racks going down. They're going to be able to find on the back here.
Position, bad point of contact. Trying to with the underworld Onslaught, 2500 health that they have to go through. Slider tries to get the initiation, Ramsey to top, good enough though. Thompson's able to activate the grave, he's in some danger. Banishment will find some time in on Watson. They've got pure up in his face. If they can deal with the Luna, it's a lot of their damage output, but it takes too long. Yeah, you can get rid of Watson, but the rest of Cloud9, they're in hot pursuit. Up on the high gun they go. There's some buybacks available for Tundra. They'll get one out of Thompson, another one out of Whitewood as well. It's a really heavy committal. No one will use a bit of a defensive Wukongs. The respect needs to be given. And they are out though. Multiple buybacks from Tundra, and they will get no value out of them.
No value, still lose the racks. It's, you know, not respecting the pushing potential of this Luna. Sure, she goes down, but she has not even begun to hit her peak, right? She's got that Kanda queued up, very, very close to being able to pick that up, and it's going to happen again right around that level 20 mark. I think that's something that Watson does better than pretty much anyone else. Like the way that he synergizes his timings with his items is just crazy. Will hit level 20, get that at the same time. He will get a Desolator right as the 20-minute Tormentor comes up, so he can do it a little bit quicker. All that sort of stuff, there's no one better in the world.
Okay, lead for Cloud9. Shard's going to be picked up now for the Tinker as well. Not seeing them be able to use their full lineup together for Tundra. Net worth, I mean, everyone is taking a large hit. The Dazzle had a great start. Fallen behind. Slaughter, nowhere to be seen. I mean, the Bane is 3,000 net worth behind Ramses. DK, the only person with a lot of net worth, seeing some difficulty with Pure to actually get the damage out they require from him inside some of these fights.
I'm just looking at what the vision looks like for Tundra right now, and it's very defensive. You've got quick forwards at the moment, realizing that, you know, C9 may look to try and push their advantage while they can, especially now, again, that they've hit these big times. You've got Little Flint, got the Khan, got the Butterfly.
I feel better already.
As well. Will they be able to catch someone out again if find Ramsey on the time?
Potentially 7 deaths here. Ramsey's health will just evaporate, so Graves going to be there. Did we give the answer? There's going to be no measure from the right side. The squishy heroes all get blown up. And they were the ones that used the buyback by Watson. Caves them. The rain, the glaives, the eclipse as well. And this is
All you need to do is rally around your strongest hero and fight hard, and that is Watson in this game. Pure is going to try and get away for those lives.
Catching up to him.
Middle tower is fine.
Just going to go for the throne.
Why not?
Good. T4 towers, and of course, there are no 2 heroes without a buyback.
Look at those flames.
Middle tower is fine.
GGWP.
We'll get a 1-1 for our first series of the night.
1-1 AG ရလဲ1-1 GG ရအောင်ဘယ်လိုဖြစ်သွားလဲအာ GG ရလဲ1-1ပြီလားရ Hero တွေက second game ကျွေးနေပြီရ
D-Wards will be up immediately here from KJ though. You see Game in the run right towards the bottom side of the map, trying to find any kind of farm they can get. Question is, do Heroic chase or do they just force them to T3 tower? And it seems like they will force them to T3 tower. Just force them back to the field. No need to chase them down the whole map. You'll get to it. Maybe they can chip away at this first Aegis. And they've got it. It had about 30 seconds left for expiry anyway, so a bit of a reset now for K1. Heroic, how confident are you to stick around and try again? Well, they are still here. At the very least, they are keeping game in their base. I mean, on the shake-up, but it is still looking very, very dire for the rest of the squad.
And it is. Just having to play tower defense at the moment. The farm pace again has been turned a little bit off. At the very least, Diracho has matched analog. Hector has run away with this game, as we tend to see when Hector has a good game. Just farms like a maniac and provides himself with quite the lead. 10 to 29, 14k lead for Heroic. We could opt to just kind of control the map until next Roshan. I don't see any major items they're really waiting for here. but probably just a safety net for the challenges of high ground. And should be the safer play anyhow. A bit of a smoke out from Gaiman. Maybe just get some vision out. Doesn't look like they're fully clumped for this one, and Tofu will get some forward vision to ensure they can still farm down bot. Twin still farming up top while he can. Doesn't look like he'll be punished this time around either. So they're utilizing the space quite nicely. Like, yes, Heroic still have the advantage. Gaiman are still finding some ways to try to farm back into this game. Get some tools on hand for themselves. The MKB for the Rocher is going to do a massive amount of work here, though.
They've scouted out quick. They know he's there. Huge trouble here for the Shaker. He'll try to BKB TP away. He won't even try to TP because he knows KD is going to cancel. That's another big one, John. 70 seconds without your mid-earth shake.
I'm a little surprised to stay that long. TP back earlier, but again, it's...
ခဏနေနောက်ပွဲထပ်ပြပါမယ်ကျေးဇူးများတင်ပါတယ် brother အောက်ပါပြတက်ပါ